Welcome to Nifty 50 Photographers. Today's video we're going to talk about travel photography. In particular, what is the minimum amount of gear you can get away with? None of us likes to lug a whole lot of heavy stuff, especially if you're going through an airport. Now, I've just returned from a trip to Iceland, amazing country full of photo opportunities. A little twist for me was I was riding around Iceland on a motorbike, one I was hiring out there, and I had to carry all my biking gear and camera gear as well, so I really wanted to keep my camera gear to the absolute minimum I could get away with. So the first thing I wanted to do was obviously take a camera and lens. Now, I went along with my Sony a7 III and my Sony 24-240 Super Zoom. And I knew I was going to be taking quite a lot of different styles of photography. Naturally, there would be some landscapes. There's amazing landscapes in Iceland, all sorts of different types, and lots of things like waterfalls as well. The other thing I knew was there's some nice architecture out there, so I would certainly want to be taking some shots of that, and also some portraits. I was traveling with a couple of friends, so I'd probably take some shots of them, and maybe some street photography too. So I needed to cover a lot of different creative styles. A little bit worried that one lens wouldn't let me do everything I wanted, particularly because it doesn't go very wide. But actually, it performed brilliantly and I had no regrets. The one other thing I could have taken would have been a small prime lens, and I probably could have got away with packing that. But I didn't, and I actually have to say, coming back, didn't really miss it. Got away with it, and it saved me the extra weight. The other thing I took, bunch of filters. I knew with waterfalls I'd certainly want to do some longer exposures, so I took a 10-stop ND filter, 6-stop ND filter, and a polarizer. And I have to say I use the polarizer a lot, especially in the landscapes, because I wanted to bring out all the different colors. The other thing I used was the 10-stop filter, particularly for photographing the waterfalls. So I wanted to slow down the motion. I didn't actually get to use my 6-stop filter, mainly because I was doing a lot of shooting in the middle of the day. We were traveling most of the day, as I said, on motorbikes, and in the evenings pretty tired and not able to go out and get those golden hour shots, especially as it was the height of midsummer, so there's almost 24-hour daylight there, so sunset and sunrise are really around sort of midnight, 1 in the morning, and I just didn't have the energy left to be up for that, apart from on an odd evening. Now, the other thing I took with me was an iPhone 13, and that was great for filming little video clips and also taking some photos when it was difficult to get my camera off the back of the bike. Now, before I went, my biggest dilemma was what tripod to take. Knew I need a tripod just to get those long exposures, and I was torn between taking a GorillaPod and my normal everyday tripod. In the end, I took my 3-legged thing tripod, and actually it's carbon fiber, it doesn't weigh that much, and it packs up fairly neat. And I have to say, I didn't regret that decision. It wasn't too cumbersome to lug around. It was a little bit of a nuisance from time to time, but I was really glad of it with those waterfall shots, especially when I wanted to set my camera up in a bit of a stream or on the beach, so for taking some pictures of icebergs as they break up off the glaciers there. All in all, I think that's the bare minimum you could need. There was one other thing I took, and that was a padded camera bag, and I managed to get my camera, all the filters in this bag, and I could even clip my tripod onto it. So that was a good way of walking around the city with everything I needed. So if you're packing for your next travel adventure, you really can get away with a minimal amount of gear. It's a good test for your skills. If you haven't got that extra lens, use the ones you've got and make the most of your own creativity. Now, what you should do next is watch my review on the Sony 24-240 lens, see if that's right for you. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.